into it. So no House Speaker chosen after 3 rounds of voting, and this is something that's hasn't happened for a very long time. And I think one instance I heard was back in the late 1800s or so, where it took 2 months for the U.S. House of Representatives to actually select somebody to be the Speaker of the House. Now, what does the Speaker of the House do? They ultimately put together the budget for the House. They maintain the offices and the committees and who's going to be on what committee and what the focus is going to be and kind of how the U.S. House moves forward. So it's a pretty difficult job, but it also indicates who's the leader of that particular majority party. With the majority now in the hands of Republicans in the U.S. House, there's a bit of back and forth as to who should be the leader. And they didn't get to a conclusion last night, leading to some asking, is this good for America? There's a couple of different ways of thinking about this. One is, no, it's not good for America. We need a House Speaker in order to conduct business. But on the other side, people are saying this is democracy in action. This is a group of Republicans in the majority that are not faithful of Kevin McCarthy, who was thought to have been the U.S. House Speaker, but has not been able to get to that threshold of votes needed. So those, of course, are 2 different ways of thinking about this. One, that it's a detriment and it's an embarrassment and it's, I've even heard, an unmitigated disaster, versus those who say, no, this is democracy in action. This is people not willing to just rubber stamp things and actually want to have debates, substantive debates, about how to move forward with the House Republican caucus and who is really going to lead the way. Kevin McCarthy, California, U.S. Representative. He was the minority leader in the last Congress. Now he's considered the majority leader in this U.S. Congress, but has yet to get the support needed to become the U.S. House Speaker. I do want to kind of look at Twitter a bit and what some of the various things that have popped up are, and we'll get to this. And, of course, you can follow along online at WMAY on our Facebook page or on our Bishop on Air page or Twitter as well. But you can see here you've got some of the questions of exactly who is going to be the next speaker. And Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat, he posted on Twitter saying, day one, House Democrats are unified and ready to get to work. Complete chaos on the other side. So that's what Hakeem Jeffries tweeted out yesterday after the House failed to have 3 rounds of voting to pick a new speaker. But you have others as well seeing this in a totally different way. And in particular, you've got one U.S. Representative, Chip Roy, out of Texas. He was asked about this after leaving the House and saying that, hey, this is democracy in action. This is something that people want to do, is debate these things and discuss these things in a fashion that's open and transparent instead of behind closed doors. Here he is walking amidst a gaggle of reporters last night.
But Congressman, is it better to not have a speaker at all and to not have a functioning House than...
Let me ask you a question. Do you think anybody in America right now is like, oh my God, there's not a speaker, right? Because what is it? Somebody who lives right now in like Des Moines, Iowa, and they're going to their job, they're going to school. Oh no, 24 hours without a speaker in the House. Like, we're a body, we can go pass motions, we can do whatever. If there's an emergency, we can do whatever we need to. But we're having a debate. It's healthy to have that debate. The institution needs to change, and that's why we're having the debate.
So you don't think Americans care that there's not a Speaker of the House right now?
I think Americans want us to change the way everything works or doesn't work. And I think they're patient enough to wait out a day or 2 for us to do what needs to be done to make things actually function.
So he's essentially saying this is the process. And while you've got Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader in the minority, saying that it's chaos on the Republican side, some Republicans seeming to agree with that. But others saying this is healthy. This is part of the natural debate that needs to happen in the U.S. Congress, especially with new leadership and how exactly they're going to move forward. And listen, some Republicans really want substantive things to happen, including focusing on the border crisis, including focusing on oversight of the Biden administration and investigations of how the government has been weaponized to go after political opponents and censoring speech on social media and so on, and a whole host of other things that some Republicans really want to ensure gets done. And that seems to be what some of the holdout is for Republicans not supporting Kevin McCarthy and throwing their support behind others. So they're back at it today. We'll see what happens and keep a close eye on that and bring you more of that conversation here with WM.